for real?
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys. It sound right, boys.
What's up, guys? What's up, guys? Hollywood Hambone here with another movie review, and today we're going to be doing another, I'm going to have to say it, man, another pretty solid MCU installment called Shang-Chi from director Destin Crichton. The writers are David Callahan. Destin Crichton actually helped write this one as well. Andrew Lanham. Two guys with ham in the name, baby. You know what I'm saying? Wow. Like Hambone. Stars was Simu Liu, Awkwafina, Tony Leung. Or just a couple of them to name off the top right there. But yes, this is a movie that come out, Shang-Chi, I was kind of excited about because like I'm one of those few people out here that are getting a little fatigued with the MCU, especially the startup and introduction movies and stuff like that. Just kind of almost being the same, the build up and the lead up. The villains are kind of weak in a lot of ways and stuff. It's just this story about a guy or girl, I should say, that has powers or don't know they have powers. They struggle, they learn to use the powers and all this stuff to get to a villain that's usually not that great, and they end up beating them and stuff like that to kind of do their introduction into the MCU. But I was pretty excited about this one because like Guardians of the Galaxy introduced them to the series, but because it was all space related and everything, like it was just different enough to like get me hyped up about it. And that's one of the reasons why I love the first Guardians of the Galaxy, especially. This movie right here, I will have to say, it's got kind of some of the same things, right? Like, because this is done more in the Asian style and it's set in more of the Asian kind of lore and stuff like that. Like, it's just different enough that even though some of the tropes they've used in a lot of other introductory MCU movies and stuff, in this right here, it's just that different, right? Like, it's just different enough that it made it pretty solid to me, and I really kind of liked and enjoyed it overall. A couple of things, I thought the acting was really super good. I thought the action scenes were done really super well, especially the bus scene. Y'all gonna get a kick out of the bus scene and everything else. They got a cool bad guy here where he's got like this thing, I guess he could attach stuff to his arm. Kind of reminded me of one of my favorite stars of all time, Bruce Campbell, where he had the thing set up so he could put the chainsaw there. That's what I'm talking about. This dude don't have a chainsaw, so he's not as cool, but it's still pretty cool. They get in a really awesome fight and everything else. And then you kind of start to find out about the family and everything else. And his dad ends up being this guy who had found the 10 rings like thousands of years before. He falls in love with his this woman that he ends up meeting as he's trying to find this source of power or whatever. And they end up falling in love and kind of give up everything. She gives up her ties to the dragon. He puts the rings up and he doesn't wear them anymore. And they start a family, have 2 kids. One of them's obviously Shang-Chi, and then his sister. They go through, but she ends up dying because of sins of the father, kind of thing. Like because he was like kind of like a bad guy. He went around and tried to take power and stuff. That's all he cared about until he met her. And his sins of the past comes back and bites him right in the rear end while he wasn't there. A group of people come up and like kill her. She tries to do her best to fend them off, but can't. Move through the movie, and then there's a really cool scene. They bounce back and forth like till real time until in the past to tell like what happened, when he was a kid going into teenage years, going into adult, which would be present day. One of the things is like a really cool scene where he thinks he's going to try to find his sister, but his sister actually like doesn't even want him there. It was almost like a trap, but while he's there, you get to see his sister for the first time. That was pretty cool scene whenever the fight scenes happening there on the outside of the building. That's something new. And I thought that was really pretty spectacular. You don't see that many people fighting on the scaffolding on the outside of a building very often. And they actually did some pretty cool stuff with it. So I really did thoroughly enjoy that. I mean, that is one of the biggest things about this movie is a lot of the big scenes and set pieces where the action and stuff's going on is like truly super good. Like I have to admit. So that's one of the things that lifts this number I'll give to you at the very end, like what I rated. That's one of the things that raised this up some. even though I do have the MCU starting to get a little bit of MCU fatigue. But as this movie goes on, they keep going. The dad thinks he's hearing their mother, and that's why he's trying to get them together and stuff so that he can find the map to be able to find where his mother's, like where he thinks his wife, their mother, is imprisoned and everything else. And that's why he was trying to get his son and daughter back together, because he needed that to be able to fulfill the map to find out where to go. Now, we come to find out that Shang-Chi's dad is actually the Mandarin, which is fine and everything. And I think some people are looking at the dad being the super evil bad guy in this movie, which he sort of is, but really not. Like, he's trying to get his family together. He had changed his ways. Like, he became like this good guy while he was still married before she passed away. And now he's trying to get his kids together because he truly thinks that like she's calling out to him. We find out that it's not her actually calling out to him. That it's, this big thing they have in prison in her homeland that's actually been like trapped, and that's actually trying to speak to him and everything else. And that being is trying to get him to show up so that he can like untrap it so that he can get out and be released. And that's pretty pretty cool, plot line, like, and everything else. So they go, and this is one thing, I don't see him as being the ultimate bad in this movie, because overall the time that we're spent with him in recent times, like he was kind of changed. His love for his wife like made him become a different person. And his love for his wife is actually what is getting him to do what he's doing now. Now, yeah, he's doing the wrong thing or whatever, but I don't think it's for the wrong reasons. So then he has to get in a fight with his son and everything. And they battle each other first. Obviously the dad whoops his ass, actually puts him in almost to the bottom of the ocean. But then his dragon shows up. I don't know if his mom's spirit's in this dragon or not. It kind of seemed like that to me, but that may be me reading into something too much. But like, the dragon sees him and everything else. He goes back in time and remembers something his mom told him, and then he slowly raises up. Then he fights his dad, and again in a pretty cool little fight scene as well. That both of these fight scenes were pretty cool with his dad. So he's fighting his dad and everything else, and all that, trying to stop him from releasing it. But he's he is too late. Like, he gets in there and starts doing the thing too late, because it's gotten powerful. These other beings were coming out, taking people's souls, taking it back to this bigger being that's trapped, so that it can gain power, so that it can release itself. And I guess like they had gotten enough powerful for it to release itself and break the wall down. It breaks down. His dad ends up basically like giving his life up and gives him the rings, gives his son Shang-Chi the rings, the 10 rings. And so he gets them. And then his dad's soul gets sucked out, which makes the thing even stronger, because his dad's soul, he's been around for like 1,000 years, because the rings like help you be like immortal and stuff like this. So that was pretty cool. Like, his dad's actually kind of redeemed. So like, I have heard a couple people saying that they thought that like, oh man, it's got one of the best bad guys of all time. Well, truly, this dude wasn't a bad guy. He was a bad guy at one time. His life got changed around a little bit. It has a different perspective. The bad guy to me in this movie is actually the being that's trying to get like his father, Shang-Chi's father, to release him. And if that's the case, it's another weak bad guy, because you get a little bit of narrative about like what this being may be, close related to or whatever. But that's pretty much it. And then you have the dragon and it fight each other for a while, and then Shang-Chi finally does something like with the rings and everything that he just newly acquired to take care of the big bad, who I see as the big bad. Like I said, some people was trying to put Shang-Chi's father into that role, but I don't truly think he fits that role in this movie. I think he fits like this redeemed character that did a lot of things that was probably horrible in most cases throughout the years, but then became a changed person and started a family and all this stuff. Because of the power of love. And he even sacrificed himself, like I said, for his son, like, and when he realized what was going on. So in this movie, to me, he's more of like this tragic, hero style thing, because like he thinks he's doing everything for the right reason. He's wanting to get his family together. He loved her more than anything, and he thought that she was talking to, and the thing was playing tricks with him. And then when he found out the tricks was what they were, he was easily like, it didn't take him that long at all, period, to like change his mind and like just give the rings to his son, because he knew his life was forfeit. And so to me, he doesn't fit that role of the big bad. It was the being that was trapped behind the wall. And if that's the case, then that's another weak bad guy for the MCU, because they just didn't focus on it any, like not at all. They didn't even try to, and all that kind of stuff. But overall, the movie's super good. The movie's super great. It's definitely a popcorn eating movie, but it's better than that. The acting from everyone that was really super good. The CGI that they used in the movie was really super good. It does have this tale that's sort of like in some ways similar to the trope of all these other origin stories, but it is different and new because of like it's based, like I said, in the Asian culture, which I thought like kind of refreshed it and made it better for me to be able to watch and stuff like that and have a fun time with it. And so overall, like even though I've notated a couple of things that might be a little weak, like the ultimate bad guy was a little weak and everything else, and me being fatigued with the MCU, this is still another solid movie put out there by the MCU, put out there by Disney. Another, I don't know if you can call it a home run, but it's pretty damn close. It's at least probably a triple, definitely a double when it comes to that. So yeah, man, like comes down to it. My score on this, I'm going to repeat myself a little bit here because I want people to understand like the scores and everything. So I do a 1 to 10 scale. Number 5 is right in the middle. That means I'm lukewarm about the movie. That means I don't like it or I don't hate it. Like I just don't know where I'm at. I'm kind of like, okay, this isn't bad, but it also isn't good. So if you're right there in the 5, like you're in the like, okay, it was an okay movie. I'm not mad that I watched it. I'm not happy that I watched it. So anything above that means I like it. Anything below that obviously means I dislike it. And in this case, I'm going to give this movie one of the highest scores. The highest score I've gave so far to a movie since I started doing this was like an 8.5. And I think I actually gave that to Black Widow because I really thoroughly enjoyed that movie and had fun with it. This movie right here, I'm giving a 7.5. Just because, man, these origin stories, like the Black Widow had this pretty good story with it, but it almost was an origin story as well. But like, I thought that some of the jokes and stuff hit better in Black Widow. I like that family dynamic over there a little bit more and everything else. And it might have been a recency bias because that was literally the best movie I saw so far this year whenever I first started going and watching movies in the movie theaters, closely there with when I went and saw A Quiet Place 2. I thought that was also a great movie. Like that's my two favorite movies this year has been Black Widow and Quiet Place 2. That's been my 2 favorite movies so far that I wouldn't seen. But yeah, did thoroughly enjoy this movie. Liked it a lot. And go see it, man. Go see it. Go see it in the movies if you can, if you're in a safe place. Look, man, I just came back from the movie theaters. I've got a mask. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it is what it is. Like, I took a mask even though I'm fully vaccinated, guys. And I suggest you guys, even if you're fully vaccinated, to like wear your mask, man. Wear them. And no matter what, just be conscious of others and everything else. Thank you guys, though, for watching. I hope you enjoyed the review. If you will, like and subscribe to the YouTube channel and everything else for us. We do have a Patreon we just started. If you'd like to join in, it should be in some kind of description below. But other than that, man, thank you guys. Thank you for watching and thank you for caring. You know, thank you for even spending any of our time with us. But until next time, guys, peace.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys. It sound right, boys.